Hello and welcome to the second tutorial of the FrameNet Brazil Web Annotation Tool. In this tutorial, we're going to explore the Frame option in the Structure menu. So when you click Frame, what you get in this test environment is the set of frames that we brought into here from the Brazilian Portuguese expansion of the FrameNet Berkeley database. So I'm going to change the language to English and access again. So you're going to see that all the frame names are now in English, and this is actually the Berkeley 1.7 database plus the specific frames that FrameNet Brazil has created for tourism and sports. So when you hit any frame, so we'll start with the first one, abandonment, what you see to the right side of your screen is the report of the frame, so the definition, the core frame elements, the non-core frame elements is an expandable menu, and also the relations, right? You can click all those buttons here, and then you also have the lexical units that evoke this frame in English, right? If you expand the frame from the left side menu, what you see is the frame elements. So a black circle means a core frame element. The one with the dot in the center is a peripheral frame element, and the one with the white circle is a extra thematic frame element. You also have the possibility to expand the lexical units to see if there is some sort of annotation related to them, which is not the case for this in the test version of the database that we're showing here. So the thing here is that I'm going to show you how you can create a new frame or you can create a new lexical unit in a frame from this structure menu. So to create a new frame, what you do is you right click the frames root menu here. So I'm going to do it again, and then you can hit new frame, right? So when you hit the new frame button, you're going to get the entry window. So this is pretty important in this tool because it's a multilingual tool. So the entry is the interlingual representation for all the frames, and the other ones are the language specific displays, right? So the entry here also always starts with an FRM from frame, and I'm going to create the test frame entry, right? And then I'm going to hit save. Okay? So after hitting save, it's going to create the new frame in the database and also give me the opportunity to edit the language specific version of this frame, which is going to be displayed according to the language that I choose here. So I'm going to edit just the English, and then I can go test frame 01, and then I can add a description here which includes the name of the relevant frame elements. Okay? The reason why I put a hash before frame elements is because this is the markup we use to color the frame elements, right? So I'm going to add frame element 01 and frame element 02 so it can get colorful when I show you the report. So save, and then that's okay, and then you just close, and you're going to see it's going to be updated here, and then you close again, and then you need to reload the frames here in the database. If it doesn't reload automatically, just go to structure and hit frame again, and then you can search the frame that you created just here. So we have test 35, test frame 01, so a bunch of people testing things. And if you just click, you will see that there is only the definition, nothing is in colors here, just because we didn't create any frame element. So I'm going to create two frame element 01 and frame element 02, and here I just hit new frame element. Okay, so the entry, the same procedure, it's inside the frame test frame, and the frame element is FE frame element 01. Remember to use under scores here to create the names of the frames, because this is an entry, so it goes straight to the database. And then you can choose the core type. I'm going to say that frame element 01 is core, and I'll choose the color. So I particularly like white foreground with colored background, so I'm going to white and dark blue and save. And then the same procedure is going to happen. I'm going to get a window in which you can edit the language specific entry. So here I'm just putting frame element 01 and add definition here, right? And save. Okay, this nick here is when you want to create some sort of nickname for the frame element. In FrameNet Brazil, we use the English translation of the frame element when we are creating frame elements and frames in Portuguese and other languages, just to allow for readability from people who are not proficient in those languages. So when I hit close here, frame element 1's here. And when I hit the definition, you will see that frame element 1 is already in color. So now the next step would be, of course, to create all the other frame elements and their definitions and define whether they are core or non-core, and to get an idea on how to make the decision on those things, you should read the book, which is available in the Berkeley FrameNet website under the documentation menu, and there is some explanation there on how to decide on that. But if you want to create a new lexical unit, you just hit here and go to new LU, right? So the important thing here is that you have to select a lemma, and lemma should be preloaded to the database, right? So when you start typing, you get all the options of preloaded lemmas in the relevant language. Let's be reminded that we are working with English. So you have test out, test the noun, test the verb, testament. So I'm going to choose test the verb and save, right? And then the LU was created, go to edition. And when we go to edition, we add the sense description, right? So which would be the description of the meaning of to test, right? You can choose here if this LU incorporates a given frame element to its root, meaning that, for example, in a verb like to bottle in English, the goal of the placing, which is the bottle, is incorporated by the LU, so you just choose it here. You can also choose semantic types. We're going to get back to that later. And if you were working from the Berkeley database exclusively, which is the case for those people who are joining the shared annotation task of Global FrameNet, and if you want to learn more about that, go to globalframenet.org and join the shared annotation. You can use this menu to indicate if this LU is not the best fit for this frame, right? But we're going to give a special tutorial for LU creation in the shared annotation task later on. Okay, so when you hit save, then the lexical unit was created. You can close here, and if you click the lexical unit, you will see that it's the test, it's a verb, it evokes the test frame, and here's the meaning. And as soon as we have annotations for this L unit, those annotations are going to be listed here. Okay, so that's it. And in the next tutorial, we're going to show you how to do some annotation for frames.